Okay, guys. Yeah, we want to talk about simultaneous linear equations. All right, so don't be afraid of the word. Actually, this should not be your first time, right? Yeah, but if it is your first time hearing about this, it is nothing to be afraid of. Okay, so this is just born out of the fact that if you have two equations, all right, to solve at the same time, let's say x plus y equals 5 and x minus y equals 1, okay, and they tell us to find what the value of x is, okay, and y, what the value of x and y is, okay, or is it that I'm supposed to say now? Okay, so what are the two numbers that when you add together you get 5, and when you subtract them from each other you get 1? That's what this question is saying, right? So for us to solve this type of equation is called a simultaneous equation. Now the name linear is coming from the fact that each of the equations are linear. All right. By linear I mean that the power of the variable is 1. Okay, the power of the variable, even if it's not shown, but the power of the variable is 1. Okay, as against something like this: x squared plus y squared equals 5 and x squared minus y squared equals 1. Okay, as against something like this will not be a linear equation, right? Yeah, but this is a linear equation. Okay, so how do we solve problems like this? How do we solve problems like this? Now there are actually two methods for doing that, two ways of solving problems like this. Now the first method for solving a problem like this is, there are different methods. Okay, let me just list out the methods for solving simultaneous equation. One is elimination method. Okay, elimination method. The other is what we call substitution. We have what we call the graphical method. We have what we call the graphical method. We have what we call there are other methods. Let me just talk about them. The matrix method, okay, the determinant method according to Gabriel-Cramer's rule, but we are not going into all that. Yeah, so these are the methods for solving simultaneous linear equations that we are going to talk about. Okay, so let's adopt the first method for solving this equation. So let's say x plus y equals 5 and x minus y equals 1. Now the target of this first method is to actually eliminate one of the variable in order to get the other variable. All right, you eliminate one variable to get the other variable, and then you can use the value of the variable you have gotten to get the one you eliminated. Let me show you. Alright, so here we have x plus y equals 5, x minus y equals 1. So now in this since this equation is like this, okay, such that the coefficients of each of this and this, they are the same, okay, such that let's say we want to eliminate x. The coefficient of x and this x here and this x here, this is equation 1, this is equation 2. So the coefficient of x and x here is the same. What I mean is that the number standing close to x, the factor multiplying x here is 1. The same thing here. So this is like 1x, right? Plus 1y. So, and this is 1x as well. So if that's the case, that means the coefficient, the number standing close to it is what we call the coefficient, the factor. So it's 1 in this case. So what we do now is to subtract. In this case, we just subtract. I'm going to show you other examples that we can do, but for now, we are just going to subtract. Look, just watch what I'm going to do. So I'm going to subtract equation 1. Okay, subtracting equation 2 from equation 1. I'm subtracting equation 2 from equation 1. So x minus x will give me 0, right? Then I'll now have here y minus y. Okay, now this is going to be like x minus x for 0. Then this other one, we are going to have y minus y, because the y here is negative. So y minus the general subtraction sign, that's this one, minus y. This will now become minus times minus is a plus, becomes a plus. So this will become y plus y. Y plus y is 2y. So that means y minus y here is going to be plus 2y. Right? Then 5 minus 1 is 4. 5 minus 1 is 4. That's this 5 here minus 1 here. That's 5 minus 1. Okay, this is a bracket I used to close this to show that we are subtracting the whole of this from this. Okay, so now having settled that, you can see that one of the variables has been eliminated. One of the variables has been eliminated. So we are left with 2y equals 4, because 0 plus 2y is 2y, right? So what do we do in this case? Of course, at this point in this lesson, you should know that we have to divide both sides by 2. So when we divide both sides by 2, we have 2y over 2 equals 4 over 2. 2 will cancel 2 here, we are left with y equals 4 divided by 2 is 2. So with this now, we have solved this problem. We have gotten the first value. Now, remember that we also need to find x as well. Now, remember that from the start of the equation, we had x plus y equals 5, right? Now, but we have discovered that y is 2. Okay, but y is equal to 2. So we are now going to make this equation to become x plus 2 equals 5. Alright? Yeah, that's what will make it. X plus 2 equals 5. So that this will now become x. The 2, since we want to find x, we have to subtract 2 from both sides. So this will now become x plus 2 minus 2 equals 5 minus 2. So plus 2 minus 2 is 0. We are left with x equals 5 minus 2 is 3. Okay, so you can see that we have, okay, that's not showing, right? It's not showing. So let me take it up here. So from here where we have x plus 2 equals to 5, so this will now become x plus 2 equals 5, right? So we subtract 2 from both sides. Subtract 2 from both sides. So this will become x plus 2 minus 2 equals 5 minus 2. So this will become x plus 2 minus 2 is 0. 5 minus 2 is 3. So x is 3 and y is 2. So of course, if you check it out, x3 and y2, if you add it together, 3 plus 2, because x is 3 and y is 2. 3 plus 2 will give you 5. We have found that x is 3 here and y is 2 here. So 3 plus 2 gives you 5. 3 minus 2 gives you 1. Alright, so that's it for this equation. Now, there are other, that's by solving using the method of elimination. I'm still going to solve this problem using the method of what do we call it? The substitution method. So I'm going to solve using substitution method. Now let's see how that works out. So first of all, like I've already tagged this equation 1 and equation 2. Alright, I'm going to do this from equation 1. Okay, we can make x the subject of the formula. We didn't do that. Okay, you can check out some of the videos on change of subject formula. We're going to see it. So this is going to be x from equation 1, where we have x plus y equal to 5. We can rewrite, if y crosses over the equality sign, x will become 5 minus y. X will become 5 minus y. So what do we do with this value that we get? We substitute it into the equation 2. Okay, so since we have gotten that from equation 1, x is equals 5 minus y. So we substitute substitute into equation 2. Alright, x is 5 minus y. So we are going to carry this 5 minus y that x is equal to and put it in equation 2 wherever we see x in equation 2. So that will become 5 minus y, because equation 2 has that. This is equation 2, x minus y equals 1. But x from equation 1 is 5 minus y. So I'm going to put this here, 5 minus y for x, right? Then minus y. That's the remaining minus y here, equals 1. So this will become minus y will give you minus 2y. Okay, this is actually like adding. Alright, minus 1y plus minus 1y becomes minus 2y. Okay, equals 1. So what do we do from here? Let's rearrange the whole thing so that 5 crosses over the equality sign to meet its like. That's collecting like terms here. We are going to collect like terms. So we'll be left with minus 2y. As 5 moves over, it will become minus. That is a negative number because it's positive over here. Come minus 5. So we are left with minus 2y equals 1 minus 5 is minus 4. Okay? 1 minus 5 is minus 4. So at this point, we are going to take this part to solve now. So what we do is to divide both sides by minus 2 because we are looking for y. We don't want minus 2. Minus 2y. So divide both sides by minus 2. So once we do that, we are going to get minus 2y divided by minus 2 equals minus 4 divided by minus 2. So minus 2 will cancel minus 2, we are left with y equals minus cancel minus, we are left with 4 over 2, which is what? 2. So you can see we still got the same value for y as it was in the previous example. Now this is solving using substitution method. Don't forget, this is where we substituted. Okay, now we have gotten the value of y. So we can go back to looking for the value of x without having to, all we just need to do is to do what we did previously. Okay, since y is 2, now, okay, just take note of this. Okay, let me do it this way. Since y is 2, all we are going to do is from any of the equation, remember that we already have here, let me call this equation 3, this one, the one I used to substitute. So from equation 3, okay, where we have that x is equal to 5 minus y. We can actually use any of the equations for this, but I want to use this because it is a little bit straightforward. And if I don't use it, I will not be making full use of this guy here. Okay, so x will be equal to 5 minus y is 2, you remember, so 5 minus 2. So x will now be 5 minus 2 is simply 3, and that's the solution. By this, we are done solving this. Okay, so that's how substitution works, elimination method works. Graphical method, matrix method, determinant method are going to come later, especially graphical method, but matrix and determinant method will come when we treat the topic matrix and determinant. Matrices. When we treat matrices, we are going to do both method there. Alright, I'm going to give you more examples on those simultaneous linear equations. Thank you.